Hey guys, so for some reason I feel very giddy right now, and I don't know if it's because since I've been here, for the most part, I've been pretty lonely, and I feel like this right here is establishing a connection with people. I don't know, but I just feel super excited and super happy to do this. So there are going to be a lot of cuts because I don't actually know what I want to say, so I may be stopping and starting a lot. You guys know I talk a lot, so first off, I wanted to apologize for looking a mess, but then I realized that I always looked a mess because I always made these videos at like 4 or 5 in the morning before I went to work. So I'd be in my pajamas with my hair wet, and so it's really not much of a difference at this point. So based on the title of this video, you guys probably already know what happened. I did mention it in the comments to a few of you guys, as well as I probably mentioned it in a video a while ago. But I know I've always wanted to go into the healthcare field. That's what I was studying in school. But while I was in school, I was also working towards like a teaching license because I knew that I wanted to teach for 2 to 3 years before I go back to school to like study for before I go back to school to have a job in the healthcare field. You know, I wanted to kind of break up my schooling a bit. And around my sophomore year of college, I decided that it would be really cool to go teach in another country. I think I found a video on YouTube at one point, and I was like, it's so cool. I always wanted to go to Japan because Japan, I don't know, I liked anime. It just looked cool. I don't know. There's no true reason, but I watched so many videos on teaching in Japan. So for about 1.5 years, I said, once I graduate from college, I will apply to teach in Japan. And then while I was watching those videos, actually a video about Korea, teaching in Korea popped up, and I was like, I didn't know you could do it in Korea too. So I was kind of going back and forth over, do I want to teach in Korea? Do I want to teach in Japan? And I was kind of weighing the pros and the cons, and I finally came to the decision that I think I want to do both. I want to do a year in Korea, and I want to do a year in Japan. Then it was kind of just decide, oh, I talk so fast. Whew. Then it was kind of just deciding which one do I want to do first. Sorry, I had to take a little break because I was actually out of breath from talking so much. Oh my gosh. So I was talking about how I was trying to decide which one I wanted to do first. Well, I watched other people's videos who had done both, and a lot of them said that Korea is more English friendly. So I figured maybe I should go to Korea first because obviously I can't speak Korean or Japanese, and maybe a little bit easier for me, which let's just say it was not, guys. I think I also mentioned this before. That's actually how I got into K-pop, because I was watching someone's video about being in Korea, and then it led to this video for a show with John Park, and I think there was this guy named Joseph something with a B, and he was singing a song in Korean. And then I was like, this song is so good. And then I found John Park's song, which led me to BTS, which blah, 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 blah. So that's how that happened. But anyways, I wasn't actually planning on coming to Korea until next year. But I was talking to a recruiter about the process, a recruiter through Corvia, which I didn't actually end up doing, by the way. But she mentioned, well, if you want to apply to the EPIC program, which is what I did, the application process closes in 2 days. So she's like, you need to hurry fast. And I was like, well, I wasn't actually like planning on applying for this coming fall because it was around April, end of April. Whenever the application process closed, I can't remember, I have to look it up. But I applied literally the last day. My plan was just to see like what they say about my application because I obviously wasn't planning on going now. So even though I wasn't planning on coming this fall, I decided to still quickly submit my application. I wrote it up so fast, like you guys won't even believe. I zoomed through that thing and I sent it in, and I was kind of just using this as a little bit of a recon, like a recon mission to see if they tell me no, that way I can change things for when I apply next year, or just to see if they would give me any feedback, just all those types of little things. But then I passed the first screening, like that application process, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was scheduled for an interview, and I did my interview, and once again, it was kind of just to see how the process is. That way I'll know the questions next time, blah, 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 blah. And then I passed that interview and I was like, huh? So once I passed the interview, what happened after that? Oh, you have to send in all your paperwork, like your letters of recommendation, because every time you pass something, they tell you, just because you pass this doesn't mean you're going to pass this. So I just kept sending in the stuff, which was a lot of money, by the way, guys. A lot of money. I almost cried. So I did that, and they told me I passed that, and then I was accepted in the program for August. And I think I had to leave like a month after, maybe less than I think it was a month, maybe a little under a month after I was accepted into the program. And I was like, but then if you turn down the job, they tell you that you can't apply for another year. I think that's what they said. So I was like, should I just do it? Should I just go? I know that I was going to do it next year, but honestly, what was stopping me from doing it this year? Nothing. So stuff at home wasn't going so well. Just constantly tired. I think I just kind of wanted to change, kind of just to take a breather, take a break. So I just decided to do it, and I went, and here I am. Yeah, so I'm planning on only being here 1 year. My friends keep telling me that I should stay another year because she's doing no less than 2 years. I think she's looking more towards the long term. We actually live in the same building, which is nice, but I don't know. At this point, there's nothing that I'm like, I need to stay. Like, I can't think of anything. And at this point, I also don't even know if I want to teach in Japan anymore. The workload here is a lot. It is a lot. It's nothing like what you'd expect. I'm exhausted at the end of every day. It's just a struggle. I don't even so I leave my house at 7 in the morning because I have to take an hour-long bus to school. And then I leave school at 5:25 and I have to take an hour-long bus home. And then by the time you walk to your house, it's around 6:30 and then you're tired from the day, and it's exhausting. It's so exhausting. I really don't know. There's no opportunity for me to really go back home. You get 18 vacation days. So they advise you to break them up like 9 winter, 9 summer. So do you really want to use those days to take a whole day-long trip home just to be there for a short period of time? Or do you want to use those days to kind of travel around the country while you're here? Because I think that's the better idea, so that you'll save a lot of money, travel, blah, blah. Because I love traveling. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. So my family is coming in June to come visit me, which is kind of going to be near the end of my stay here because my contract ends in August. So I really don't get to see my family. The last time I saw my family was in mid-August. I think all these holidays, like, I'm a big family person, especially when it comes to holidays. We always make Christmas cookies together, decorate the Christmas tree, so kind of not being there, I think, has been putting me in a little bit of a mood, and it's making me a little bit depressed. So I don't know if I can do that for 2 years. Like, not going home for 2 years just seems like a lot, because I actually love my home. So I was moving here. I never thought I'd be homesick, to be honest, but I was a little homesick, not in the way that you would think. It's more of things here. I'm out in the country, so things are very hard. I mean, it's kind of like my fault though, because I did apply literally the last day of the application process. But I've seen, if you want me to weigh the pros and cons, if you really want to learn Korean, like if you're coming here and you want to learn it, I suggest you do not live in Seoul. I suggest you do not live in a huge city. People are usually trying to practice their English on you when you go to Seoul, as opposed to you practicing your Korean. I'm out in the country, nobody speaks English. I mean, not one person speaks English, not even in my schools, because usually you have a co-teacher and your co-teacher speaks English. My co-teacher, or the co-teacher of the girl who was here before me, she spoke English, but her contract at that school ended, so she left. Now there is not one person I have 3 schools and there's not one person in my elementary school that speaks English. My middle school co-teacher does, and then in my other elementary school, no teacher. So only one school do I have someone who speaks English. And if you're placed in a middle or high school, which is, they tell you, unlikely, the teachers there have really, really good English because that's what they went to school for. Just FYI to let you know that. But besides that, nobody speaks English. It's kind of... I would say it's overwhelming, but you really get used to it and you do pick up on words like the bus drivers. Also, living in a small town, the bus drivers know me, so I don't even have to say the names of schools, which was a struggle at first. It was so embarrassing. I've had many embarrassing experiences since being here, guys. I don't even want to think back on them. But there was that problem, which I'm kind of getting over that. That's kind of blah, blah, blah. But my biggest problem has been my apartment was completely filthy. There's like a mandatory thing where they're supposed to go in and kind of check to make sure that the person cleaned the apartment before you. But from what I was told when I complained about it was that because the girl here before me was so quiet and sweet, they didn't feel the need to go in and check there. So I was like, that's a reason not to check an apartment? There was mold everywhere. Everywhere. I took pictures. There was algae growing in the window in my bathroom. It's, gosh, just thinking about it is making me mad. I sprayed some spray on my bookshelf. It just, the liquid, you know when the liquid drops down, it turned brown. It turned brown. It was absolutely disgusting. I think that's really what depressed me because I came here and the apartment was just, there was mold growing in the cups and the bowls in the cabinet. So I had to get rid of everything. Like the stuff that you should have in the apartment when you come, I had to get rid of it and replace it. That's not something I had planned on doing, and it was very, very stressful because I spent my first 2 weeks cleaning. To this day, I am still cleaning, like I'm not finished. And you also start school, like you finish orientation. You finish orientation and then they take you to your, to meet with your co-teacher, and then your co-teacher takes you to your school. And I've heard stories where people have started teaching literally that day, but I just went and I met the principal and then she took me to my apartment and then I started school the next day. I started teaching literally the next day, and I went in and like the teachers, I went in and some of the teachers let you do your introduction, like do your PowerPoint, blah, 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 introduce yourself, but some want to do class right then and there. So I had, I want to say, one class that day that the teacher taught and I didn't even get to introduce myself. I just stood in the back of the classroom and it was so awkward. It was, your teachers, your co-teachers make or break your experience. I just want to say that. If you do not have a good co-teacher, your experience is going to be the worst thing. Because my favorite classes, I realized, are the classes I have a good co-teacher for. Except for one class, which the co-teacher doesn't do anything. He just sits there. But I love the students so much, so it's like, I kind of just get to hang out and like play around, do all that stuff because my kids are amazing. But anyways, I just wanted to say that, which I kind of already knew because my mom, she doesn't really have a co-teacher, but her, they did what they called team teaching. So one of them would teach math and science and the other would teach English and history. And if you don't have a good relationship doing that because your students are constantly swapped, that's hard. So imagine being 2 teachers in one room and you don't have a good relationship. It's nearly impossible. Sometimes I get anxiety because the teacher will look at you a certain way, like, and it just adds more to the stress. I will say in your EPIK, if you ever plan on doing this and you do an EPIK application, they ask you if you suffer from anxiety or anything like that. I think they may have had experiences with people who went through things when they were here, but it's a good question to ask, I'll just say that. I also had a problem with communication at my school because nobody can speak English. I think they kind of don't feel the need to tell me things, which makes it very, very hard for me because I don't know what's going on. The thing is, the teachers at the school, the people at the school are very, very nice. It's just, I think in a way they kind of write me off because I don't speak Korean. Because the girl who's here before me, she spoke Korean. One of the teachers, literally, I came in and he asked me, "Do you speak Korean?" And I said no. And he was like, and that's when I just knew this class will probably not be a very good class for me. But anyways, I feel like I've just been complaining, but I just wanted to say kind of what's been going on. Been struggling a little bit, but it's really turning around at this point. I think I've kind of gotten into the groove of things. That one teacher I said who kind of made that face when I said I didn't speak Korean. At first, he taught all the lessons and kind of did not let me do my portion, so I'd literally stand in the back of the class. But now I think, I don't know if he's spoken to other teachers that I like, and that, I don't know if he's spoken to other teachers whose class I'm in complete control of, like I do the entire lesson, and he's realized like, oh, maybe she does have some skill in this area, and now he's letting me do it. But it's nice because I feel like he trusts me, but then it's also that level of, I feel like he has his eye on me the whole time, and it kind of stresses me out a little bit. I don't know. That's just life, I guess. But anyways, I'm sorry if I did not reply to your comments. I did not plan on disappearing. I really did not plan on disappearing. I actually had videos prepared because I knew I'd be disappearing, but I was so busy that I couldn't even like get those together. And then I didn't even have time to apply to comments, so then I tried to do it, and I know it was like 2 months. Oh God, it's been like four September, October, November. It's been a long time. So if I didn't reply to your comment, I'm really sorry. But I wanted to especially try to reply to the comments that I saw, because sometimes I'd go in and check to the people who were asking me if I was okay, because that actually meant a lot to me, because I really wasn't okay. I was struggling hard, but now you guys know. So I think I said everything. I really did miss you guys. This is like, I don't know, this feels like a venting session. It's really cool. If you guys have any questions about anything, just leave a comment. I know I take a long time to reply, but that's because I actually I read the comment and then I think about how to reply to it forever. That's why a lot of times you guys will get like 3 paragraphs of text when I reply to you. So if it's just 1 or 2 of you leaving a message, I'll reply in the comments. But if there's like a couple of you that leave a comment or ask me any questions, maybe I'll just make a video, because as you guys know, my wrist is kind of sucky, and replying to comments actually, well, not replying to comments, typing actually makes my wrist ache a lot, which it's been doing a lot more since I've come here because I've been typing a lot. So yeah, that's just what I do. By the way, I straightened my hair for the first time in months, and it was nearly down to my waist. So I chopped it because a lot of it was dead. Actually, so one of the things when I first came here, there was this girl who taught here before, and she also taught in China. And she said that when she lived here, that the water, it's not like filtered, so your hair falls out. And then I was like, what? And then so I asked other people, and they agreed and said the same thing. But there was nowhere for me to buy a water filter because I live out in the country, and then I couldn't do the online shopping thing at that point. So my hair has gotten way thinner. There's certain patches it falls out so much, but I was finally able to order a water filter, so that should be here soon. What was I talking about? What was I even mentioning? Oh, so my ends were very dead, so I chopped them. So now it's like here. So it was almost waist length, now it's here. But my apartment is very humid. It's so humid, as in when you walk in and you're wearing glasses, your glasses fog up. I'm not even exaggerating. That's happened to me, as well as a few other people. Like my district coordinator, I told her how humid it was, and she came in and was like, my glasses literally just fogged up. So I bought a dehumidifier, which cost me around $150. So I was really sad about that, but the amount of water it's sucking out the air is actually ridiculous. In like an hour, there's about 32 ounces. 32, 16 is a water bottle, right? I think 32 ounces of water sucked out of the air in an hour, but the thing is, running it cost a lot of money, so I'm trying not to do it too much. But my hair does not like humidity, so it's not working. Oh! So yesterday it actually snowed here, so I had my first snow in Korea, and I recorded a couple of videos because I realized since I've come here, I have not been taking pictures. I have not been filming videos, I have not been taking pictures. I already am not the type of person to take pictures, but I feel like this is an experience where you need to take pictures. Like when I go with my friends to the city and things like that, they take pictures, they record vlogs, like they have all these things to look back on, and I'm like, I have none. I don't take any pictures. So I'm trying harder to do things like that. So I actually try to film my first snow, and it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. Oh my gosh. Maybe I'll insert the footage, but I don't know. It's not good. It's really not good. I also slipped in the snow, so that was not good either. I forgot how much this camera relies on natural lighting and things like that, and the place I was at before had no natural lighting, and now this place has no natural lighting, like at all. There's no natural lighting. The way the building faces, the sunlight doesn't come into my room, so I always have to have these lights on. So I'm sorry if the lighting is bad. Maybe I'll get a lamp or something to put it there. But by the way, since I've come here, I realized that I've only seen like 2 K-pop videos. Isn't that so strange? I don't know, that's very weird, but I watched Idol, and then there's another one, and I can't remember what it was. But I haven't really watched any K-pop video. I mean, I hear music, but I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly who it is. Or my friend loves K-pop though, so sometimes she'll tell me who it is, but I really only hear it when I'm out and about and they're playing it somewhere. So, although I will, okay, so you know how BTS has that line of, what's it called? Like little characters and things? So there's this huge store in Seoul dedicated to, I don't know what I'm saying. There's this huge store in Seoul dedicated, what is it called? Line Friends? Line Friends? I think it's Line Friends. So my friend, she actually went there and bought a lot of little trinkets and stuff for her students to use as a little reward. And I didn't realize how big their own little line is, because there's this little bakery here and they sell stuff with the characters on it. You go to the convenience store and they sell stuff with the characters on it. I was like, to be honest, I didn't even know it was gonna snow today. I looked outside my window and it was a little bit darker than usual, and I was like, why? And then my district coordinator sent a message saying, it's the first snow. And I looked outside and there it was. Although I was actually planning on going shopping today because there's no like really good groceries in my town, so I have to go to the next town over. So I'm about to catch a bus in the snow, and already like riding a bus on a normal day is kind of scary. So a little bit nervous, but it's so cool. I love snow. For some reason it reminds me of home.